In this video, we're going to focus on the custom tooltip in chart.js. And there's a custom tooltip that you can create like a HTML version, which will be eventually inserted in here. And this, as you can see here right now, is just a pure HTML text, which we can modify from top to bottom. And the goal of this video, which is part 1, we're going to use the sample and put the sample in and understand the mechanics behind it. In the second video, we're going to work and create one ourselves. In this video, we're going to focus on one of the viewers' questions, which is how to understand the external custom tooltip sample in chart.js. This is a good question, and basically here, the focus is especially to the external function, which can give you the option to create your own custom tooltips. And the chart.js documentation really lacks on this part. And I have to make probably 2 videos on this one. So this video will first focus on how to use the sample they have, and then we'll have another video where we're going to create a custom tooltip from scratch. Alright, let's start first, because this was a viewer question, was one on my other videos, which was how to customize the tooltip data in chart.js. So this one was specifically on the data itself, not the tooltip, but here, Datu Prasant asked another question. Hi bro, well explained, but in the customized tooltip case, please make a video on external HTML table data to be projected on the tooltip. The documentation code in this affording you to please do a video on this. Yes, of course. So first of all, Datu, thank you for asking the question. And yes, we're going to make probably 2 videos on this one, because this is far more advanced than the standard topics. However, that should be not a problem. So let's start and explore this. First of all, to do this, we need to look here quickly at where we can find the information about the tooltip. So if you go to configuration in chart.js, the latest version is 3.4.1. Go in here in the tooltip. And in here, the tooltip, you see here the external, which is a function. So this namespace is a function with the default on null. So this is correct. And then you can see here, see external or see the options here. It shows here some well, basically a long list of code, and might be very complicated. All right, so we can click here on the C sample. Click on the C sample here, where we get here the sample of the external HTML tooltip. So which is just this one. So we're going to grab this sample and we're going to use this sample first. To get this, we need to break it down. We have all these blocks here already. However, I want to go here on GitHub. Click on this. You get the full code here. So you are sure that you have everything and not missing something, because I'm sure that the sample here is missing certain parts. Alright, so first of all, we're going to grab this and put these in blocks. So you can see here, the first one will be the external block. So fair enough, I'm going to look for this. You can see here, it starts here up and closes here somewhere down. Alright, that's this one here. So I'm going to copy all of this. Create a JavaScript tag, and in here we're going to paste this in. So the first one, these are the blocks, very important. So this will be the external. So I'm not sure exactly what is this for block, but I guess there's a function related to that. However, we can fine tune it later on. The next one probably will be our setup block, I expect. Oh, sorry. Let's see here. I see the tooltip element. All right. That was a huge chunk. All right. Here's the setup block, and here you can see all of this. You can ignore this for now. We will focus on that later on. And here in the setup block, we just paste all of this here. All right. Then the next one will be probably our configuration block. Let's search here. Setup block is done. Then configuration block. All right. We can easily put it in here. Finally is here the, alright, this is the export module. No need for that one. We're going to make our own version, which is called our render or initialization block. Here, same story as always. I'm going to give it the constant. We didn't yet assign a canvas, if I'm not mistaken. As you can see, there is no canvas yet. However, the canvas will be my ID as the canvas ID will be my chart. So we say here my chart, and you can give it anything you want. Just make sure you be consistent then. Let me say here new chart. This is a constructor. Remember, constructor has parentheses, no curly braces. So in here, let's say document.getElement by ID, and this ID name will be my chart, of course, because that will be the one, comma, and then we say here config. So once we did this, I'll just put this a proper indentation, which was not properly indented. Alright, none more. So tab. Alright, here we have another tab, external block. Here, just for simplicity's sake, I go back here to chart.js, scroll back to the home page, basically here on doc/latest. Here we can just grab the code on getting started. I need this code here and the upper one. Paste the JavaScript library for chart.js, and finally here the canvas. Paste this all in here. Tab. Alright, here class, and then we can say here chart box. Alright, this one here in the style, this, and the reason I'm doing this is to ensure that we have a fixed width on this one here. We say width. I'm not sure what kind of chart this is, but let's assume, I think it's a line chart or bar chart, but let's assume that. Save that here, refresh. You don't see anything yet. Why? We get errors. The utils are not defined. Alright, so utils, just to be clear, what are the utils or the utilities? Let's go here to samples back. Scroll down here at the bottom. This one here, the utils files. So you can see here, and this is what we're going to clean up and remove because it's obsolete, not necessary for you. The util files contain multiple helper functions that the chart.js sample pages use to generate charts. Alright, so it helps the chart.js documentation. These functions are subject to change, including but not limited to breaking changes without prior notice. In other words, these functions can be changed and they could break your chart, and they will not inform you if they did change it, yes or no. So don't use it. That's just basically, in short, don't use it. Alright. So we can leave this here as it is because here's probably nothing yet, but let's clean up here our utils, and the utils are probably somewhere in the setup block, so I have to go down. We have here the setup block. There we are. As you can see here, remove this, but this basically means 7 data over 7 data points. Alright, this one here is the random data. Fair enough. I'm going to delete this, and here we have the utils month. If we have 7 data, we can put in here 7 months. For simplicity's sake, I'll just put in some numbers here. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Alright. And then the same I'm going to do here on the data. On here. And the color here will be red. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I just want to get this working as fast as possible. Border color here, red as well. Because this is quite common knowledge. Blue, oh sorry, that's blue as well. Here, utils number. This is the second line, so I'm going to say here 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So basically we're doing this in reverse. Alright, let's save this and see if we have it working. Refresh. Alright, we have it working, and you can see here now it starts to work, and we have this customized tooltip here. Alright, very beautiful. So let's start and explore this a bit more. What is going on, or what is this exactly? So to understand this, first of all, let's go at the footer, or here, sorry, there was the footer block. Am I not mistaken here? Or the external block, sorry. So the external block has a constant here, get or create tooltip. Alright, and there's another one, is external tooltip handler. Scroll down here. Let's see what's going on here. We have the external command or namespace, and then here it refers to this function or basic constant. This is a constant. This constant is here up. Let's go back here up again. Alright, so this constant, and you can see what this constant really do. This constant goes in here, starts with the context for the tooltip elements to get the ID numbers, and then it says here the following here, constant tooltip L equals get or create tooltip chart. So what does this really mean is it will also run first through this constant here. Why it runs through this constant? It needs to check if apparently some tooltip has been created. By default, the first time it renders, it needs to load. And here, these here is just pure CSS. Alright? And what is really happening here is we are talking about document create element. This is really an important one. Because here we are going to create something. And I think this is a very nice sample. Later on I will just show you exactly here how we're going to use that. But then once it has this, it will start to work on a few items. If there's a tooltip opacity equals 0, tooltip style opacity 0 return. Alright. So hide if there's no tooltip. Okay, fair enough. That's an if statement. So basically this would say tooltip equals or tooltip false. That's basically what it says here. Do you want to show tooltip or tooltip? I think it's like this. If I'm not mistaken, it's tooltip enabled. Basically, this is really what it really says here. Tooltip enabled false if this is true, or if it is false, set it on transparency 100%, meaning it should not be visible. So that's basically the way how they hide tooltips, which is quite interesting. It's very straightforward. So they just hide it by making it transparent. Alright, that's fair enough. Here, set the text. Alright, here's the text. This loops it through. I will eventually go through it deeply. Here it loops it through, and once it starts to loop through, and then it goes in here. This here is all create elements. And creating elements is, I think, a very important part here regarding with the append child that I will have to show you. Because here, all it does here is basically to create an element, insert the text node or the text value, and then append it to the child. Alright, so to do this, we must create something here. Where I need to create it is not in here, sorry, in there. So let's make something. I'm going to create here a UL. Alright, so in this UL, I will give this an ID, and this ID will be, what is a nice ID term here? Well, let's say test ID. Alright, so I'm just giving it things, and what we want to do is we want to put in here items. Yes, but I don't want to type, or I do not want to type the li this, that, and eventually maybe class equals abc. I don't want this. What I need to do is I want to loop it through. The reason why I want to loop it through is because of the data points that we have. So that's basically what it does. So to do this, I'm going to go all down here. We're going to make a sample. It's all down here. I'm going to create here a item. Let's see what we're going to do. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to say li. I'm going to show you this. This is not the JavaScript, but we're going to emulate this in JavaScript by using all these commands that we have there up. This will help you understand what we're doing. If you ever make a POS system, then when you click, for example, on a product, then you will see it on the right side, for example, the item. And this is basically what happens here. But then on a far more advanced level, it's quite clever how they did it. So I'm going to show you this, and then this will give you a level of understanding, and eventually when you're going to create our own version, you will understand how we really build it all together. So let's say here, and this will be a class, we will say here ABC, and then here what we'll do is following. I'm going to say here a span, or maybe letter B, make it bold. Of course we should not really use this, maybe span is better. Span, and then we just say class bold. Class equals bold. Alright, and here would be, for example, number 1, and afterwards here you'll have text ABC. So to do this, we have to basically do the following. You can see here up as well. This is what it really happens here. Let's see here. Gets here const document create element t head or table head. This is basically table head. What they did was a table here, and we'll just to simplify, we'll just use a unordered list. It's exactly the same. Yes. All right. So we have this test ID here. So what we're going to do here is create basically in JS language the item above. That's what we're going to do here now. So the first thing we're going to do here, I would say here constant text ID equals document dot get element by ID test ID. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to insert whatever we are going to create, insert into this ID here. That's really what happens here above as well. It happens here if you look at, let's say here, what is the tooltip ID? It's the item here, tooltip li or element, which is a div. Sadly enough, because if you hover over it and then if you open up the developer tab, well, let's see if we can try to view it. See the elements. Alright, so I'm going to click on this. Maybe click here on hover. Let us stay focused. Let's try all of these. Alright, that doesn't work. As you can see, it really doesn't work because we are in the canvas. So it doesn't work. It shows you something, but firstly, it doesn't help. Alright, so we have to make our own. So we're going to just make our own. Sadly enough, it doesn't work. But we're going to just make our own. That's no problem at all. So in here, the first thing we do is here. Then we say here, we're going to give a new constant. And this would be, to make it simple, we're going to say here, this will be the li. Yeah, so I say li equals document dot create element, and what's the element name? Li. Usually I see this in caps locks, and I'm surprised it doesn't show here in caps locks. Apparently it would allow as well. So basically how the tooltip really works is this, just to make sure that you have an understanding. The tooltip works in a div. Let me just visualize it for you, or at least in an item. So it's div, and in the div it has a table, and then there's another tooltip which says t-head, I guess, and then after that you have the tr. No. And then here in the table row, you have the table, what is it? Table data, sorry. And then of course here we'll close the tr, closing, and then etc. And it keeps looping on. If there would be another item, and I think they use like the table head, table body. So there would be, this would be closing t head, and then with the body exactly the same structure, t body. That's basically what it does. Alright, so to do this, we're going to do the same, but we just do simple one. I'm going to do a simple one, which is just basically this one here, exactly the same here what we have here. You could see div, and then you have this, etc, etc. We're going to do the same here. Alright, let's start working on this now. So we got this, we created this here. So we have this one here, the first one we created. And then what we want to say here is, we want to give it a class. What they did, they didn't do a class here. What they even did here, which I probably would not recommend, is they just put it here hard-coded with all of these items. I would say put this in CSS, and then you just assign a class towards it. Once you have the class, it will grab the item. So that's what we want to, that's what I want to do, and I want to show you it's a far more effective way to do it. Because you can see that will cut away a lot of lines in JavaScript and just put the thing that is in CSS for CSS. Alright? So we say here constant. Oh, sorry, not constant. We're going to get the li. And then what we're going to do is I want to say here. So what we did here is create the li tag. That's what we did here. Now I want to do here is add a class to li tag. And then we say here li, then we have here class name dot add. I have to check if it's class name dot add or class list. That's the only one I struggle. If it's class list, we don't need to do add, one or the other. So we have to see on that one. I will just check later on. And add, and what are we going to add here? Equals the, what's the class name? ABC. That's the one here. Alright. So once we did that, what we want to do here now is another class or another item we want to create. We want to create the span. That's this one here. So how do we do this? Well, exactly the same method. Here, span. And then we're going to say add a tag. Add the tag to span. So what we're going to do here, same story. Well, But of course here we should have here span. Let's say span li, just to make it simple, to be as unique as possible. Maybe you have another term as li, so that's why span li is a unique name. It's better than span itself. Alright, add the class name. What is the class name we want to add here? Bold. Put it in here. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is we want to add here one specific text here. It could be number 1, so we can say here what we can do here is the span. I guess what we could do here, that would be, this is a constant, then we say span text, maybe with a capital T, equals document dot create text node. Very important. With the text node, we're going to add specific text here, number 1, for example. Right now I'm doing it hard code. This can be soft code. We can loop it through as well later on. For loop, we do it later on. Alright, so once we have this one here now. So we have created here, we created a text node. Now we want to add the final one before we even, because this is only the text node we create. We didn't include it here yet. So I'm going to show you later on how to include that. The next one is the, here the text as well. This is the other text, the ABC text. So we're going to here, another text node. And this text node is for the li. So you can see we're going to play around with the order as well. So we say here li text, very simple. And what is the text? This. Grab it in there, paste it in, comma. Alright, we got this now. This is very important here. Now, pay attention here, because I understand this might be a bit confusing because all of these create stuff. Alright, what we're going to do is basically this here. We're going to convert it because we just created these individual elements, but they're not yet together. So we're going to create a puzzle. So the first thing what we want to insert is basically this li here that we have here, right? So where do we insert it? So we're going to use this one here. We need to get the parent. We say add this, or add element to parent. So here we say the following. We say here, this is the parent. Why is this the parent? Because basically in here, // and then you have here the ul. This is the nested version. So it's nested within this part here. So this is the parent. The ul is the parent, and this is what we call the child. The li is the child, and the li is the parent of span. This is the child, and then the span is the parent of the text node of number 1. This here is also a child, and this one li is the parent. So basically the li is the parent of span, but also on the text within here. Alright? I hope you understand this. So this is your structure. This would mean here, we're going to say the following. We say here, because we want to insert it in the text id dot, let's say append the child. So this is the parent, and append means attach or connect. Connect the child to the parent. So we have this parent, we connect which child to that? Well, li is our child. So we say here li. Once we did that, the next one would be, who would be next? Well, we have here, now we have the li, and what we want to do is basically this. Well, even this class, we already attached this one in here, so no need to worry about that, but this span and the text here can be appended as well. So we're going to say here, li append, get your children. The parent, this parent must get children, and the children from this parent is, let's see, li span. And the reason I'm selecting li span first, because look, this is the text we want to show, or this span tag I want to show first before I want to have this. And here we have the space here, so maybe we need to put a space here as well. That's alright. So we just copy exactly the same here. So we have this, and then what we can say here, the next one will be li append child. Let's search for that. What is the text ABC? That is li text. Alright, so if I save this now and refresh, we should see something, or we get maybe an error because we have maybe certain things not yet done. li class name. All right, what is it saying? Li class name is not a function. All right, fair enough. Li class name. All right, sorry. So this will be class list. So it's one or the other. I'm going to save this and see if this works. Li class name add is not a function. It's a list as well. Sorry, this is the only one I get confused with: class list and class name. However, it's one or the other. It's like this. This is the way to do it. And then filled on the append child parameter 1 is not yet node. All right, fair enough. Append child. Let's see here. Where is our append child? This one here, append child li text. Span li. All right. This one is on the number 26 li. Let's see here. Maybe li is not allowed to be used, so I'm going to change that to li2. Save that. What is going on here? Just give me a minute. I'll just. Alright, sorry, I did something that I should not do here, and that is this. As you can see, these are all constants. And I realize you're not allowed to adjust it. Because what I did here, I make it a string. So this is why it was not working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all back. I'm going to remove the number 2 I added there. It's all a constant. If it's a constant, if you put it in a string, it becomes a variable again, which is not what you want. So I'm going to remove all these tools. Alright. Save that here and then refresh. You can see now it works. There you are. So this is basically what is happening behind the scene here. And then it loops here. So how we could loop that is basically like this. We have all of this. There's a for what we could do here is I equals 0, and then what we can say here, just for the sake of it, we can grab this here. I'm going to grab this, but to do that I want to make this a constant. Const 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Well, this will be a data. What is that? The labels name. I'll just give it labels name just to make sure that it's unique. Labels name equals this. Grab this, put it in there. Say here ABC. Oh, it's a string, of course. Or you can just do January. January. Feb. March. Right. Then we have here April. May, June, July. Alright, we've got this here. So this is a nice thing to use. So I'm going to loop it in here. So we say I equals 0, semicolon. I will loop as long as this dot length equals that. Alright. If the I is smaller compared to this. This length here, if I'm not mistaken, was 7. So it will keep loop on here 7 times. And then here we say I++ for incremental increase. So this is a for loop here. And what we're going to do here is basically everything what we have here. We're going to append this, cut this out, paste it in here. And then what I will say here is labels name. Text node equals labels name, or maybe here, this one here should be like this. Then I. Alright, so we should have this nicely looped through. I save this, refresh, there you are. So now we have this. So my goal here was not to make the tooltip yet, because I will go deep in this as well in the next video, but I want you to really understand what really happens here. Basically, all of these create or document dot create elements is creating an element here, but here what it does is it will loop through one of those data points, and this is what we really get here as well. We could even go further with the other data points. It will go through that, and then what happens is the moment you move away from the action, it doesn't trigger, or it removes the trigger point of it, and it will start to hide it as well. However, I hope this was a little bit clear, and if it's not, don't worry, another video will come that will break down how to create one directly in here. But if you understand this part here, just this structure what I did here with the loop and everything, you probably are able to read now far more of these items here. Append child body, table body, and you can see it's very descriptive. Alright, it adds a table row here. It adds here a table data, and then the text, whatever the text is create text node, which is the body. I'm not sure what's exactly in the body here. Basically, it's the body. There must be something in here. We could even check this with a console log if you want. Console.log body. And let's see. I'll just see if this even works. And if you hover over it, as you can see, look what's in the body. You already see here now. Data set 2 is equal to 3. Is that correct? Let's see here. If I hover over the May, I assume here data set you have 2 and 3. As you can see here, May, this is data set 2 and 3. That's correct. We're hovering on this one. So right now it just understands which one we hover over. However, I will go deeper in that in another video. But this is the most important one. If you still have questions regarding to this, because this is a quite tricky one. If you still have questions, put them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in chart.js, check out in the description box the link directing to my chart.js course where you can learn everything about chart.js. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.